Good thoughts there. As Lynn said, I spent this past weekend at my Barnard College reunion, and it was this weekend full of alumni from all different classes, from 49 all the way up to 2009. And we had a packed program, as they tend to do on these kind of alumni weekends. And we had, panel presentations about nutrition and sustainable farming and the bio of Lincoln. And we even Anna Quinlan, who's a novelist and a New York Times columnist, came and spoke about aging and motherhood. But the presentation that stood with me the most was actually a moth-style presentation. Are you familiar with everyone's the Moth podcast? And they did something similar where 8 women from the class of 49 to the class of 2009 sat up on the podium, and each one had 8 minutes to tell a story. And when the first one started by saying, I grew up in a Midwestern town, in a happy family, I found myself leaning forward. I wanted to know more. And when another woman started with, I was the chancellor of an all-male fraternity, I was curious. I wanted to know more. And I realized that regardless of all the highfalutin presentations that were going on that weekend, the one that's going to stay with me the most were these women's stories. Because it's really the story that resonates within all of us, that connects us. And I will remember those women through their stories. So I thought, what can I offer you tonight but my own personal story in terms of my journey to publication and my journey from a small New Jersey town to another small town in Sweden, my journey from New York City to a couple other cities along the way. But I have to say that I fell in love with children's writing twice. First as a reader and then as a writer. But before I became a reader, I had to learn to read. And that did not come easily to me. Some people are born readers. My sister was one of them. She came out of the womb wearing her cat eye glasses and with, Louisa May Alcott in her lap. And, she was also playing Mozart. And I figured if I wanted to be like my big sister and play with her, I had to go where she was, which was usually in her room reading. So she would be sitting there with this big book on her lap, and I would be sitting there with a big book on my lap. She turned a page, I turned a page. This is what I thought reading was, just kind of turning a page and staring at a page. And we would do this for a really long time. And I remember one day, she quietly leaned over and took the book and turned it right side up.